Meanwhile, Turkey's parliament has voted to extend the state of emergency by 3 more months. It enables the government to pass legislation without consulting MPs. The emergency decree was first imposed after the failed coup attempt last July. Since then, thousands of people have been detained for their suspected involvement in the coup. Turkey's Deputy Prime Minister says the state of emergency will last as long as necessary.
Özellikle son Ortaköy saldırısı üzerinden.
With the attack in Ortaköy, they wanted to give different messages compared to other terrorist attacks. One of these messages is, we will continue to cause trouble to people in 2017. Our reply is clear. Regardless of which terrorist organization they are, regardless of by whom they are supported, and regardless of their motivation, we are determined to fight all terrorist organizations in 2017, and we will fight till the end.
Well, TRT World's Hasan Abdullah joins me now from Ankara. Hasan, this is obviously clearly controversial, this renewed state of emergency. Is it directly related to what happened in Istanbul on New Year's Eve?
Well, John, it seems that this extension to the state of emergency has been done reluctantly on the part of the government, especially looking at the debates that have been taking place here in Ankara. Many members of the ruling AK Party and some of the top leadership in the country, including the President and Prime Minister, had in principle been opposed to any extension to the state of emergency. But the security and intelligence agencies have been arguing in national security meetings that the counter-terrorism operations that are ongoing across the country could suffer if this state of emergency was lifted at this point in time. Now, just to give you some figures, so far 20 people have been detained in connection with the Istanbul attack. 5 Daesh suspects have also been detained from Turkey's western coastal city of Izmir. And we have some figures from the Interior Ministry. In 2016, 339 major terrorist attacks were prevented. Now, the policy in Turkey of the security agencies is that they tend not to publicize any operations or any instances where they prevent terrorist attacks, but they have given us these statistics. And 313 of these terrorist attacks were planned by PKK, but they were prevented. Similarly, 22 Daesh attacks that had been planned, the security agencies managed to prevent them, and there were 4 other attacks that had been planned by radical leftist groups in Turkey that have been prevented. Now, in total, 1,300 plus Daesh suspects were arrested in 2016. Around 1,100 associations that were found to be connected to either FETÖ, PKK, Daesh or other associated terrorist groups were shut down. So clearly the government officials are arguing that there is a strong link between the extension in the state of emergency and the ongoing anti-terror operations.
And Turkish politicians again calling on the international community to do more to help in its fight against terrorism. It's a call we've heard before. What's the significance this time?
That's right, John. The call here from Ankara is that there's a need for a holistic and consistent approach to the fight against terrorism. Now, officials here in Ankara have been saying that there are clearly double standards and selective outrage that Turkey is witnessing when it comes to the fight against terrorism. They're saying that this selective attitude towards terrorist groups and supporting some terrorist groups against others is not going to help the world in the long run. Also, one of the officials I was talking to earlier, he said that the United States continues to support terrorist groups like the YPG on the one hand, and it sort of tries to justify that policy. But at the same time, the United States is complaining about Russia's apparent support to Taliban in Afghanistan at the moment against Daesh. So Turkish officials are saying that there's a need for a consistency in the fight against terrorism.
Hasan, thank you very much indeed.